Start.
Hello, and welcome to Toastmasters in the Community. I'm your host, Fran Okeson. With me today is my dear friend, Julie Porowski, who is like my second daughter. Her mom and I were Girl Scout leaders tons of years ago. And I love the story when they announced that your mother had a position in the district of Toastmasters. I said, oh, I hope we become friends because I'll never understand that last name, Milicher. And now look at me now. Look at your age, and I consider you my second daughter, and I loved your mom, and then we lost her, and so it's been there. And you're part of our Women's Club of Tottenville, as are other women in the audience. So I'd like to thank my limited crew today. Very busy time of the year. Few people had other obligations today, but some of them came for the first show, and so we're working sort of on a skeleton crew. Next month it'll be people giving longer speeches because it's our district conference, and I'm losing some key people on the show, so we adapt. That's the fun of Toastmasters, being able to adapt at the last minute. So I would like to start with my opening speech, and this is the 5th speech in the Communicating on the Internet Advanced Manual. And in this speech, it's a little bit different. My evaluators, I'm supposed to have 3 evaluators, and they are each going to take one segment of the evaluation page and then come out to the lectern and evaluate that particular thing that I'm supposed to be striving to achieve. So I'm going to start my speech right now. My title is Dig Out Those Photos. Fellow audience at home and in the studio, we're always looking for ideas to make speeches. As was said on the first show early this morning, today is my 28th anniversary in Toastmasters International, and Lucy Kahn, one of our regulars at the show, created this lovely lighthouse because my theme as District 46 Governor was she had the light, and she decorated the whole top. It's very, very, very heavy, so I have to be very, very careful of it, and I'm very pleased with her creativity. But I decided to talk about photographs. We all have photographs. Most of you modern people have them all stored on some sort of a smartphone apparatus and all these things that I don't intend at my age to be getting involved with. I still use a camera, and I have my son scan them, and I have my pictures. Now, we're going to be asking for pictures in a few minutes, but then I had so many things to talk about photographs that I decided to focus on one area. And the area is conducting a youth leadership program. Now, in this speech, I'm supposed to teach the audience how to prepare and present a speech. That is what I'm supposed to be achieving in this speech, how to prepare and present. So once I decided that I was going to talk about photos, because I'm an avid photographer, I got my first Kodak Brownie camera for my 12th birthday, along with a fishing rod. Would you believe it? I love the camera, don't fish. At any rate, I had so many pictures that would make up speeches that I decided to shelve them for future speeches and focus just on the youth leadership. I've run many, many youth leaderships over the years. High school students, intermediate school students. When we had the Miss Tottenville, Miss Richmond pageant, we had the little ones, the grade school. Remember the little ones that we had?
That was fun.
And Julie worked on all those pageants. She was my curtain puller at Totten Intermediate School. The first show she did, she came out with blisters and said, I'm wearing men's heavy gloves from now on, pulling the curtains closed.
I had no idea how heavy those ropes were.
It was unbelievable, but you were a trooper and you did it for years. So anyhow, what I decided to do was to talk about a youth leadership because they're fun to do. First of all, you're dealing with children, and the main thing is you ask the parents to drop them off and pick them up, but don't let them stay because the kids will not be honest with you in front of their parents. So this particular time, I asked Paul and Sandy Scharf to help me with a youth leadership. We did it at a church group on Staten Island, and we had, I have in this photograph, which I'm going to ask Isaac, the director, to please put up the first photograph that Peter named Kids. There's the group of young people who were in our group. There's 16 young people there. They were fantastic. They were there, they knew what we expected of them, they did what they were supposed to do, and we ran a meeting, but it was an 8-hour program. I don't like doing 2 hours for 4 weeks. My calendar is just too booked up. I like a one-day shot. 8 o'clock in the morning until 4 in the afternoon works fine. They can bring their lunch. We have treats at the hospital if we meet. They give us bagels, and everybody's cooperative. And then we do a regular meeting. We coach them, we mentor them, we do this all. It's a working day. And it's fun to watch them get along with each other. At the end of the day, we have a speech contest, but we've broken them into 3 groups. We always have trophies for first, second, and third place, certificates for everyone, and we do invite parents back at 3 o'clock for the speech contest. What happens during a day? Let me segue just a little bit now. Did Isaac put up the second picture now of Paul with the 3? There's Paul Sharp, who had to leave on business today. He was here for the first show this morning. But those are the 3 winners. And that girl standing next to Paul was a sharp cookie. She was sharp. You knew she was going to win that contest right from the get-go. But they were all fantastic. Now, I'm not going to say the groups I've run youth leaderships for, but I had another group. Mostly they were black kids, the other side of the island, Hispanics. There was one girl there who looked like Alice in Wonderland, long blonde hair. Now we broke for lunch because the people who set it up said that they all wanted to go to the nearby Taco Bell for lunch. And this girl said, I don't want to go, I'd like to talk to you. I thought she was just going to chit-chat about Toastmasters. But when everybody left the building, she started to cry. And I found out then they think that Toastmasters can answer all their problems, and we really can't. She told me that she was pregnant, high school, boy loved her, said he wanted to marry her when they both got out of high school, mother wanted the baby gone, and she was in the middle of a pickle. I don't give advice to young people. That's not my place as a Toastmaster, and I taught. I've had to tell a few people who asked legal questions that that's not what I'm doing here. With this young lady, like I've done before, is there any family member you can talk to if you can't talk to your mother? No, they're all on her side. Do you have a doctor that you can see without your parents with you? I don't know. I said, do you have a priest, minister, rabbi? Do you have a religious person who can counsel? They're all trained to counsel people who have these situations. Do you have a counselor at school? I go through the retinue. Eventually, I said, that's all I can help you with. I said, I cannot, legally, I can't help you. That's not what my purpose is here. I'd love to know what happened to that girl. Right now, I don't remember her name. So we're constantly preparing, because you can't just give a speech and say, I'm going to talk about this new lighthouse that just became part of my lighthouse family. I must have 300 lighthouses at home. I don't know what Peter's going to do when I'm gone.
Maybe you can dedicate it to the new Lighthouse Museum.
We'll talk that over with Peter. That's an option. That's an option. I have lighthouses all over the house, and I love every one of them. Each one has its own story. But, all right, the other thing. Joan Maurizio and I went to the South Beach Psychiatric Center for 7 years on a Friday. Another Friday in the month, we went for 7 years to the Carmel Richmond Nursing Home. Nursing home, all elderly people, wheeled in by their floor people. That was fun. They didn't want to have higher office. They wanted to talk about their lives growing up, how they were raised, some of them from other countries. At the South Beach Psychiatric Center, again, I was faced with problems, and they came out of the blue. I didn't expect them, but this one girl had an 8-year-old daughter, and her mother had custody, and this girl wanted to have visiting rights with her daughter, and her mother wouldn't let her because she had problems. Wanted me to help her. I told her, again, that's not my job. So when you're dealing with running a youth leadership program, you do have to protect yourself. Just to stick to the point of the Toastmasters program. You're helping them learn how to speak do impromptu speaking, preparing their speeches, getting information. Julie, I'm sure you've mentored a lot of our members over the years. Mentoring is fun. Right now I'm mentoring 3 or 4 people, and it's fun to watch them grow and to understand where you're going. And it comes by just continuing to not miss meetings. I think that's the biggest thing in Toastmasters is don't miss meetings. Unless you have to. We all have to sometimes. I mean, you have things at home. You have little furry people at home that I'm sure sometimes one of them has a bellyache. Do you want to tell our audience how many little bellies you have at home?
Quite a few.
You don't want to give a number?
Quite a few.
I have 5. And I love it when you send me pictures of your babies because
and I love yours too.
I know. And by the way, I got Christmas cards. You remember when I had 5 snowmen on a card? I named each snowman. I got the same cards from the same group, and you're getting it again this Christmas.
That was a perfect card.
It was. If I got a 6th card, it wouldn't have worked at all. So how to prepare and present your speech, it's really very easy. Think, then act. I'm still looking for pictures. I have more speeches in the internet, in the video manual, and I'll be doing more speeches about photographs. Some will be just humorous pictures of my friends and embarrassing them a little along the way and telling little private stories. Anyway, that's the end of my speech. I hope I've taught somebody a good idea. So now we're going to move right along. And I put you second, Joel. How about that? By the
It's
way,
like it's our show for the first half of the show.
That's all right. I had to put you somewhere. All right, Julie, you're doing, poor Ken, I have him overworked today. You're doing speech number 10. Oh, is this the last one in your book, or do you have number 9 left to do?
I have one in the middle left to do, so I'm almost complete.
Well, we'll get you doing that so that you can start on a new book. All right, Julie, speech number 10, which is in the basic manual, Inspire Your Audience. And you have 8 minutes, please, girls. Watch the time over there. Your evaluator is Ken Raftery because Paul had to leave. And I like your title. Somebody guessed what it might be, and I didn't say a word, but I'm pretty sure I was on the same wavelength. It started with Meatless Monday. Let's all welcome my other daughter, Julie Porowski.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, our audience at home. Pleasure to be here today. It started with Meatless Monday. What is Meatless Monday? Meatless Monday is a movement that started in 2003, basically to raise awareness of the fact that we eat too much meat. There are so many costs to society by the amount of meat that is consumed that Johns Hopkins University started this initiative to bring awareness and to try and change the mindset of people to maybe not go vegetarian or vegan 100% per se, because that's a huge change, but to take one day, just one day a week, a Monday, and make it, and make it a meatless Monday. What are the benefits of a meatless Monday? Well, first off, the obvious answer is your health. We all know that eating too much meat, particularly red meat, causes heart disease. Beans, peas, nuts, all the substitutes for meat contain little or no saturated fats. Saturated fats, of course, is what leads to heart disease and high cholesterol. There have also been studies that show that meat consumption contributes very much to certain types of cancers, particularly colon cancers. The rates of colon cancer, even with all the screening and the early detection that is now being done, are still too high. And again, the link to red meat has been shown. Eating meat makes you feel older. Do you know your body has to work so hard to process meat? When you eat a vegetable-based diet, your body processes the food so much more quickly. It does not raise your cholesterol. It keeps the risk of diabetes low. So there are so many health benefits just as getting started on a Meatless Monday. The health benefits are hands down a great point. The second benefit of a Meatless Monday is that it helps our planet. Did you know that it takes 1,800 gallons of water to produce 1 pound of beef? That's 1 pound of beef. That's 4 quarter-pounders at McDonald's. And it takes 1,800 gallons of water to produce that. Meat farming or meat agriculture also contributes to greenhouse gases, more so than automobiles, coal-fired plants, aerosol sprays, all the things that we're trying to reduce to help reduce climate change. And yet, the biggest contributor to greenhouse gases is animal agriculture. So if you're one of those people who drives a hybrid car or drives an electric car, it's, oh, I'm doing a wonderful thing for the environment, you could really make a dent and help by having 1 day of the week meatless Monday. And of course, there's the benefit to your wallet. I'm sure most of us have done grocery shopping, and we know that our weekly budget for groceries, one of the largest expenses in your budget is, of course, meat. A steak is not cheap. Chicken is not cheap. Fish is not cheap. If you cut down just 1 day a week, that's a wonderful way to help stretch the family budget. And I think all of us could use a little help with that these days. It also helps with health care spending. Eating meat is not good for your health. And the money that Americans and the rest of the world spends in health care for preventable diseases is 70% of the health care budget. 70% goes to diseases that could be cured, or prevented, I should say. So by reducing the risk for these conditions, you're going to reduce the cost of health care as well. So there are really 3 key points to adopting a meatless Monday. We all get set in our ways. Bacon for breakfast, a deli sandwich for lunch, some chicken or some meatloaf or whatever, a hamburger for dinner. And you're probably saying to yourself, well, how can I even do that? Oh, I don't like vegetables, or I don't know about that. It's just that's the way I was raised. That's my culture. That's what we eat. Well, there's so many ways that you can get started. There's so much information now on the internet. One of the things that I did when I decided to adopt a Meatless Monday was I got a nice little booklet called the Vegetarian Starter Guide. It's free. It's from the group Mercy for Animals, and they of course promote a vegetarian lifestyle. And it was just filled with wonderful information, basically what goes into factory farming. Again, we talked the benefits. And the best information was really this section called Switch with Ease. I don't know if that's showing up, but it's called Switch with Ease. And it really helped make the transition, because I didn't know products. Are the veggie burgers good? Are they going to taste like cardboard? Fortunately, my friend Fran has adopted a vegetarian diet now for many years. So, of course, she was a valuable resource. When I set out to do my shopping, I said, what do you like? What do you eat? What's good? Where do you shop? And it really helped make the transition very easy. Also in the guide, there are recipes, and if you Google and put in vegetarian recipes, you'll get a gazillion places to go. So the information is out there. It's very easy to find. And something like this, like I said, free booklets, there's information all over the internet. It's very easy to find the information. So, there's even a restaurant on Staten Island, which we're very food-centric here. They're called the Better Gourmet Health Kitchen. And I had the pleasure of hosting an open house, I'm a realtor, this week at one of my listings, and I decided that instead of the usual deli meats and sandwiches and things that we usually serve at an open house, I was going to have a vegetarian lunch.
Very nice.
The wonderful people at Better Gourmet Health Kitchen put everything together for me. We had a delicious vegetarian menu. Everybody enjoyed, everybody was satisfied. So it's really not that hard. If you start with one day a week, start with a meatless Monday, and before you know it, you'll be saying, TGIM, thank goodness it's Monday.
Thank you very much, Jill. Yeah, I don't know if I ever told you my reason for not eating any meat, fish, or chicken is I had a very bad nightmare very shortly after 9/11.
Oh.
And that was it. Any animal that had a mother had eyes. I mean, when I roll my little Annie up in my arms and she looks up at me and I say, "You're such a good girl," and she purrs, I just don't see how people can eat an animal that has life in it. It's just, I couldn't go, I didn't go to the district Hail and Farewell because Bill Hood, our past director, was having a pig roast.
I didn't go either because of that. Yes,
And I told Tony Figueroa, and he said, well, he said, in the Philippines, that's what we do. I said, well, I'm glad I'm not in the Philippines. So just the thought.
And it's not that hard. There are still some places where I have some challenges.
And veggie burgers are delicious.
And yes, they are.
They're
And
not
actually we like them better than beef hamburgers.
Yes. And if you go to, I forget, Peter's over on camera too, but there's a place, I'm not sure if it's Dairy Queen, or one of them has sliders, vegetarian sliders. And you don't know, the chickpeas are in there, and it tastes just like meat.
I have to tell you, the food was delicious
Yeah, I'd like
that
to
we had
see that
at the
later on.
catering. I brought it for you, actually.
Oh,
so
thank you, I'll take it.
there you go.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I have nothing to give you in return. I did want to say thank you for wearing the necklace that I admired on you one day, and you bought me one for myself. Peter has, after I'm gone, you're getting this one back, so you'll have a double string. Oh, good Lord. Yes, it's beautiful. I love it.
And I do too, yes.
Okay, now we have Joan standing over there waiting. I hope somebody's on the clock now with the time here.
Lucy.
Okay, fine. All right, Joan, you're doing speech number 1 from the Entertaining Speaker Advanced Manual, the Entertaining Speech. Lucy is your evaluator. I gave you 5 minutes, and you're talking about writing prompts. Let's all welcome Joan Maurizio.
Madam Master of Ceremonies, fellow Toastmasters, and the wonderful audience back home. There's a book I picked up, and it was almost an accident. I wanted a planner, and I couldn't find one. I was too late. So what I did was I picked up a book that had mostly empty pages. What happened was they asked 300 simple questions. They're not that simple, though. When I looked through this book, I said, wow, this would be great if a couple getting married, the husband gets one and the wife gets one. Respectfully, before they get married, it should be finished, and they should start reading each other's answers, because it would tell you how much in tune you are with other people. And speaking about marriage, it starts out wonderfully, and then it starts to fall apart sometimes. I'm not saying for everybody, but for maybe half the people, especially the ones that are getting divorced, it falls apart. I want to tell you something Phyllis Diller said about marriage. She says, whatever you may do in life, marry a man who's your age, because by the time you lose your beauty, his eyesight will also fade. And then there's the question and answer about marriage. What's the difference between your wife and the dog? And the answer is, the later you get home, the happier the dog is to see you. And then I'm going to say one more. As Red Button said, a man was reading the paper and he saw that it only cost $100 to raise your children in India. So guess what he did? He took care of his kids and he sent them off to India to save money. But anyway, that's besides the point. The point is, things people should talk about, not just people in Toastmasters, table topics and speeches. People get bored in life. If you go in a restaurant, you will find the people that are married, the ones that are not talking to each other, they're eating, or maybe commenting on the food. The ones that are engaged and looking to get married, they're the ones that are chattering a mile a minute. Some of the prompts in this book were very interesting. It took time to think. I didn't always write the answer right away. I thought about it throughout the day. One of them that was very good was, were you born to shine in one special way, and what makes you really stand out from other people? Then another question that was in there, and this is something that really does take thought, but it reminded me of something someone said. As a tongue twister. What stupid question have you heard someone ask or asked yourself? And I said in my answer, I've always been told there are no stupid answers. And then I expounded on it and said, ignorance of a specific topic may seem to bring up a stupid question, but no one's a rocket scientist at everything. So, and then I put dot, 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 and I've been doing that a lot lately. Because you can go on probably for a whole speech about this. You can talk about going to a seminar that advises you how to save for your wealth in the future, especially knowing with the stock market and all the failings and everything. So there where you go there and you think you're asking a stupid question, it's not a stupid question at all. This guy's experienced, he's been in it for 15 years, and that's why he's giving seminars and charging you to go. Another thing I thought that was very interesting, and I would love to see this as a table topic, is our world, would our world be better off, sorry, I'm wrong. Is our world better off or worse today than when you were young? I mean, when I was young, we're going back 45, 50 years. So it's a big difference for me. However, if you ask this of a teenager, they're not going to tell you what young is unless they remember all the fun they had and all the parties they went through, and they really don't celebrate that way anymore. So I thought that was interesting. But then there's stuff geared to women and stuff geared to men. And this is one example. What is the most useful tool you own? And I thought that was interesting. And then for the mothers, what most important quality should any mother have? But you know, when the husband and wife trade this book with each other, the husband will understand more what a wife is expecting, and then he may be able to understand more what he should expect from a wife. And don't think you can take 3 weeks off on vacation and not do any housework to help your wife out. A wife's job, a mother's job, especially a mother with 2 or 3 children, it's never done. So you have to say to yourself, okay, so what else can you talk about? And I picked up one of these books, Word Search, and I just flipped to a page, and I said, look at that. Marathon training. Now, if you don't know anything about marathon training, you can still talk about it. Why? It talks about different things that you can pick out. They talk about runner and shoes. How about running shoes? Have you bought a pair of running shoes? Do you know the difference between a good pair and a bad pair? I know you're supposed to put them level on a base and tap them and see how they react, but how does that really work? I don't remember. I'm not a runner, so it didn't interest me. Fitness, exercise, your coach. They talk about all these things, and it's one thing after another, one subject after another. So if you can't think of a speech, do me a favor and go to the 99-cent store and pick up one of these word search groups. They're great. So what I'd like to do is continue with the rest of this. One very imposing question, I would say you have to reword this if you dare ask it. It's, in what way do you not fit in with the family you grew up with? It could be that you have a job that pays you $150,000 a year. They're still all making $75,000 a year or less. So you have a better spending limit for your income. Oh, well. Well, with that, I want to say the last joke of this day, and it is, did you hear about the invisible man who married the invisible woman? And the answer is, their kids were nothing to look at either.
Entertaining speaker advanced manual. Okay. All right. And our final speaker is Annalene D.
Yes.
And Annalene, you're doing speech number 2 from the basic manual. Are you a competent communicator yet? Did you complete one manual already?
I'd have to check again.
You have to check. Okay. Because, all right. Maybe you could let me know, because if you filed it, then I'll list you as a CC after your name from now on.
I think I still have to do more. I'll check with my
Okay,
mom.
just
She helps
send me
me.
an email,
Yes.
when you do, so I can give you a title here. All right, you're doing number 2, organize your speech from the basic manual. You have 5 minutes. Julie, you're Annalene's evaluator, and I think this is a very good title, How to Achieve Wealth and Success. I wonder what she thinks is more important. Let's all welcome Annalene D.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Hello, audience. My topic is how to achieve wealth and success. First, let me ask you a question. How do you define wealth and success? I define wealth and success in a different way. I'm an immigrant. I came from the Philippines, came here, America's dream, got married, and I'm a single mom now with 2 kids. So my definition of wealth and success is being able to live a long life, have a healthy lifestyle, fund the means of what I would like to do with my children and family. So my wealth and success is going to be defined differently from other people's wealth and success. Yes, these are the 101, the basic needs. But when you build on it and you progress and you grow, you can build and expand and grow and become more than what you have. So my definition of that is going to be a lot different because of the lifestyle that I have. I'm your average Joe. I'm your average woman just trying to succeed, but I also don't want to just survive. I want to live. I want to live the life that I want to live. I want to be there for my family. I want to live a long life. So for me, it's living a life worth living. Being able to fund the life that I want to live. Being able to spend my time with my family, my loved ones. So that is very important. So in that meaning, I found out that there's like really 4 basic steps. Mindset is the first one. Okay? Then you take action, massive action. Then after that, you create a good habit. And with that, to continue your habits and your lifestyle and growth, you maintain and continue self-improvement. So in that, I've read several different books. I go to Tony Robbins. I'm big on Jim Rohn, Dr. Oz, everything you name it. I'm huge on that. Toastmasters, anything that I could help to grow and succeed. So with the mindset start is every morning I meditate for about a minute or 2. I thank God, I pray, I give my gratitude, and I do this again at night. I also do Qigong and Tai Chi, which is Kung Fu. So in that essence, you want to have balance. Now, again, mindset. You are your thoughts, right? So think positive. You want to start a good day. No matter what day it is, good, bad, ugly, it's you. You have control of yourself. So the mindset you have is, you begin and end your day with being grateful. What can I achieve today that'll make a difference in my life and life of others? Contribution. So I do that, and of course, things are the way they are. You can't control them. You got to stay positive. And you're going to move on, you grow. So with that, you just keep on being positive, dance, do whatever you can to relieve stress. I do kickboxing and Kung Fu. That helps me relieve stress. I'm a realtor too, so I go around, running around, driving around, and I have my kids, and I'm a single mom, so believe me, it's just crazy schedule. So now you have to breathe, you have to meditate, you have to stretch, and you have to refocus. So that's the mindset, right? So basically, reject self-doubt, reject limiting thoughts, stay positive, stay healthy-minded. And of course, you know what? You feed your body, you feed your soul, you feed your mind. So that goes on to action. So again, you breathe, you meditate, you take action. So what you want to achieve, you write it down. Try not to forget what you want to do, because if you don't write it down, you're going to forget it, and it's not going to be, you won't be able to achieve it. So that's where you take action. Make sure you write down everything you want to achieve. I use Google Calendar like it's no tomorrow because I have a crazy schedule. So it beeps into my phone, and it tells me, yes, I'm late, I got to be here, I got to be there, with the crazy schedule that I have. So it's very helpful. Okay? And of course, eating healthy. I changed my diet 2 years ago because I was 108, like almost 108 pounds. I was a 16W. I found out I was diabetes type 2. I had fibroids, and I was ready to go get like a whole hysterectomy, everything. So I changed my diet, went nutritionist, went to Kung Fu, and we all got very healthy. So just be very careful, be mindful, stay positive. And of course, now you go and you make it into a habit, right? Habits we train, habits we gain. We learn it in Kung Fu. Edgewater Kung Fu, love them. We learn to train ourselves to be better. And with that, keeping it as a habit, you go to self-improvement. Surround yourself with people that are like-minded like you. Surround yourself like Toastmasters International. Like-minded like me. We have the gift of gab, but we want to be able to communicate effectively. Be around the people to support you, make you grow, achieve. And that's what I mean by success. You could be anything you want to be. Doesn't have to be a yacht, whatever you want. But that's what I feel is my wealth and success. Live long, happy, and love my family, and surround myself with mentors and group leaders. And I have my Edgewater Kung Fu, my Sifu, my mentor, my coach. So they help you be accountable and stay on track. So those are the 4 real main ones. Be mindful, and also keep it as a habit, take action, and have a great mentor and coach, because they will help you stay on track and you will be successful. And I just want to end this with several, just 3 quick quotes. First one is, the successful warrior is the average man with laser-like focus. You know who said that? Bruce Lee. No one thought he could achieve what he achieved. He was an Asian man, short, but he was stocked and he could beat up people and he made it, a trend. But he was also a philosopher, wise. And then there's the other one. If you fail, never give up, because FAIL means first attempt in learning. End is not an end. In fact, END means effort never dies. If you get no as an answer, remember, no, NO means next opportunity. So let's be positive and never give up. That was a quote that I love to read all the time. And the other quote I love to read is, when a student is ready, the teacher will appear. So, what will you do? How will you achieve your wealth and success?
Thank you
It's
very
your
much,
choice.
Annaline.
Thank you.
She reminds me a lot of Ann Gilson. Okay, and now we go to the fun part of the evaluations. And I have 3 evaluators. Each one had 1 question to answer. Ken, I started with you. Would you please give your part of the evaluation on my speech?
Yes, thank you, Fran, fellow Toastmasters and viewers. Yeah, my question was the audience given the information necessary to accomplish what the speaker wanted done? I definitely think we were. I had jotted down some of my favorite phrases from Fran's speech. Learn how to protect yourself. It's very true. I've been working with teenagers for 22 years, and again, you have to know how to protect yourself. You have to be careful what you say. But I have to say that Fran's situation with that young lady who was pregnant, I've never had to deal with something like that, so I give you credit. Another good point, don't miss meetings. It's like missing school. Once it starts, it could become a pattern. Don't miss Toastmasters meetings. It's very true. And I also like what she said, think, then act. We see that, I think, in some of our politicians nowadays. They say things, I think, when they haven't thought about what they're saying. But it is very true in any aspect of life. Think first, then act. Because you can maybe prevent a mistake if you think first.
Thank you very much, Ken.
Thank you, Fran.
Wow, what a nice evaluation, huh? And now we have Sue Brooks. Yeah, we let you out of the control room once in a while, Sue.
Thank you, Fran. I had the privilege and pleasure of answering the question about Fran's appearance on TV. Fran appeared very relaxed, poised, and confident, since Fran is obviously a seasoned professional appearing on TV and having been a Toastmaster for several years. I didn't detect any distracting mannerisms, but one thing I thought was great was she used her hand gestures to prove a point and to add to her presentation. She used good humor and was relaxed and confident. On to Irene.
Thank you very much, Sue. I'll keep you on. Oh, here comes the bad one, though.
Here comes the bad one.
Here comes the bad
I
one.
tried to look for everything that you did wrong.
I'm sure you
I
tried.
worked so hard.
You're
And
a
did
tough
you?
cookie.
You got to find some room for improvement.
Let me see now. Let me see. I've got such a list.
And you know, when we have to go to a conference, she is the best travel companion, the best roommate if we sleep over. She really puts all the nastiness aside, and she's a true friend.
Oh,
so whatever
she's
she
buttering
says,
you up.
I
isn't
know,
she?
I know.
yeah, hey,
not
2
gonna
out of 3
change.
won't be bad.
My thoughts will not change. They're written down on paper.
Okay.
Well, my duties on Fran's speech was to comment on the speaker's voice, gesture, and facial expressions. Well, I know Fran now 16 years, and I consider her also a mom mentor for me, because
A
she's
mom?
a mom mentor.
I'm not that much. You're not that much younger than I am.
Oh, I certainly am. Oh my
No,
God.
you're not.
But
I know how
anyway,
old you are.
Be nice to your evaluator.
Oh yes, I should.
Fran is a person who speaks naturally, softly, but direct and to the point. She doesn't waste any time. She doesn't mince words. Her hand gestures, of course, were good. She doesn't move from the table because she's plugged in. But her hand
The
gestures.
microphone is plugged in, please.
And
Call-
she also spoke to her guest, and she faced her guest, and she faced the guests for you, the audience. She was very descriptive on her explanation of what she was doing. And quite frankly, there's really not much that I can critique. Fran speaks well. She's a great speaker and also a mentor. And by mentoring, you have to communicate. And she communicates extremely, extremely well. And I do love her. She doesn't know it, though, even though we banter, but
No,
we
the
do,
affection
and I
is
do.
there.
And I congratulate you on the number of years you've been a
28
Toastmaster.
today.
See, and I've only known you 16, so.
Wow.
See what you
And I
missed.
just started when I was, what, 18? Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you thank all three of my evaluators. You were all great.
Nice job.
I have a few more of these speeches to do where I need a team of evaluators, so it's fun. All right, now, Ken, yes, you got double duty today. I'm so sorry, but Paul had to leave. So you're evaluating Julie's speech. Now we'll see if he likes you as much as he likes me. Okay, let's all welcome again. Come on,
Thank
Ken
you, Ken.
Raftery.
Yeah, thank you, Fran. Once again, fellow Toastmasters and viewers. Yeah, a trivia note. Fran and Julie were at the very first Toastmasters meeting I ever attended. That was in April of 1994, over 22 years ago. So it's nice to see both of them still at meetings. Yeah, so just as it was appropriate that Fran chose me to be her evaluator when she spoke about education, I think it was appropriate that I was Julie's evaluator today. Because I have to say, other than a little bit of canned tuna, canned salmon, I don't eat meat at all. Chicken, red meat, I don't eat it. Except when I went to Japan. I think I was eating things that I wasn't sure what they were. But I really liked Julie's speech because she spoke about different aspects that people may not consider. The water, waste, the greenhouse gas issue. So there's definitely a lot of aspects that people don't consider. And I also like the fact that she didn't necessarily say become a vegetarian 100%. She spoke about Meatless Monday, so I'm sure everyone could see that that's not unreasonable at all. Because one day a week for everyone, that adds up. It definitely does. Yeah, as far as the suggestion for improvement, I don't think you actually spoke about like the kindness to animal issue too. In fact, it was ironic. I was watching an episode of Survivor Australia last night on DVD, and some of the survivors won 3 chickens and a hen. And one of the contestants is vegetarian. She was very upset. They were like throwing the chicken into a cage. She said, she's right. You know, would you do that to a cat? Just throw them in? So, and then they would kill the pig later, and she sees them as living things. Again, we wouldn't do that to our dogs, etc. So just because a chicken may not be as attractive, we should have respect for them as well. But overall, I think you gave everyone something to think about, and I appreciate that speech today. Thank you for your evaluation. You gave us food for thought, vegetarian food.
Someone to say that. Thank you.
Very, very good. Now, Lucy Kahn is evaluating Joan's speech from the Entertaining Speaker Advanced Manual. Welcome again, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
Hello. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster, Madam Toastmaster, viewing audience, and guests, and especially John. John, I like your speech about writer's prompts, and you talk about the book 300 Writing Prompts by Piccadilly. I like the way you talk about there's so many 300 simple questions that you can have, and then the way you wanted the husband and wife to get each box and then ask those questions. This way they can answer it the right way, and that you make sure that they react whenever they are really doing something. Like there's some questions that the married people can answer it differently by the people who are engaged. So it really is very entertaining to hear their answer with the questions that they were being asked. There is no stupid questions and no stupid answers, which is good. And I like how husband and wife answer the question in the box, especially if they have all the 300 questions. And also all about what the book talks about and any question that any subject can. I like that 300 questions, you can do it for everyone. And the only, how could you improve the talk? Maybe you can tell more stories about the question you were asking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lucy. Very, very nice.
Thank you.
And now, Julie, you're going to tell Anna-Lane what you thought about her speech, How to Achieve Wealth and Success.
Hi, Anna-Lane. Hi, TV audience again. How to achieve wealth and success. We all want to know how to do that. And that's what made the speech interesting and meaningful to the audience, because it was something that all of us are seeking. Everybody wants to improve their life. So I thought that just selecting that topic was terrific. You were very prepared. You had good organization to your speech. And I loved the opening. One of the best ways to get somebody's attention is to ask them a question. And that's exactly what you did. You asked the audience, how do you define success? Because we all do have a different definition of what success is in our lives. And that was a great way to start the speech. The body of the speech flowed very smoothly, with the exception of a few things that I'd like to point out for improvement. You kind of jumped from one to another, to another, to another, and I felt if you could have just kept it to a few key points in the body of your speech, which you actually ended up doing when you wrapped it up and did your conclusion, if you had kept it to that in the body of the speech as well, I think it would have been a little easier for people to follow. But that's my only suggestion for improvement. You have wonderful gestures, good eye contact, you have a very pleasant voice to listen to, and I think that you did a wonderful job, and it was a pleasure to do your evaluation.
Thank you very much, Julie. Now we're going to be starting the table topic session. And let's call on our first responder. I guess she was out of the room. Okay. Joan, you have the first question. I had to give you a different one because I gave you a question before in the first show because we had a little extra time.
No, I don't even remember it. I'm terrible.
Well, I just got it now. I'm glad I brought this page with 30 questions. All right, Joe Maurizio, why do you and this is number 28, I believe, whatever.
Ought to be
Why
28
do you
again.
think that some people believe in angels? Joan Maurizio.
I think some people believe in angels, Madam Table Topics Master, because you hear stories from so many people about an angel being present, even though you couldn't feel it. You know that maybe at that moment you should have died, or maybe cut your finger off, or something else crazy could have happened, but something saved you. I saw a TV special one time, and it was all about angels, and it just makes your belief even stronger than what it is. This little girl was up in the Grand Canyon where they had all these things protecting them around, and the parents weren't really paying attention, and she kind of sneaked underneath the barrier that was put up for grown-ups, not for little children, easily fit under that, and she went off the cliff. And the cliff almost formed like the number 7, getting nervous thinking about it. And they thought for sure she was lost. A little scream came out of her, but then all of a sudden it was quiet, and they thought maybe she got hit or whatever. All of a sudden they saw her flying. They couldn't see the angel, but they saw her flying over the cliff and being put down gently. The little girl kept saying, I saw this beautiful human being with long, long blonde flowing hair and big, big wings. And the way she described it, you knew she wasn't lying. So this little girl was talking about the angel that had saved her life. And when you hear things about like this, I get so annoyed. My almost brother-in-law, my sister didn't marry him, but he said, you and your sister are so ignorant. You believe everything you hear. You know what? I'd rather believe and get the grace from believing than be a non-believer. But believe in angels, they're there. That was a beautiful question. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joan. And now we'll hear from Leah. Leah, you're coming back now? Okay. Leah, part of the clan over here. Oh, yeah, this is a fun question, Leah. I think you'll like this. Would you enjoy your meals more if you could eat your dessert first? Leah Salanavi.
Well, I think that I would enjoy a meal more if I were working up to something delicious. So I would rather keep my dessert last. I feel like that's how I feel with anything. If you know what you're striving for, it's always a better process doing it. So.
Okay, very good. And the more you come on, the longer you're going to be making your speeches, even though you had a full minute, but that will come in time.
Good.
We'll be seeing you again. Okay, Isaac, are you out of the control room? Isaac needed time to put a jacket on. He knows not to come up there without a jacket.
Good Toastmaster.
Well, I'm going for a tie, but he said, you got a jacket, be satisfied. So the tuxedo will come one of these days. Isaac, you know I adore you, right? With a smile like that, how can you not? He's got a beautiful smile. Oh, yeah. This is a good question for you, Isaac. Coming from the Ukraine, from Soviet Georgia, this is a good question for you. Isaac Obenovich, would you rather be too hot or too cold? Isaac?
I would rather be comfortable.
Oh, that's cheating.
Madam Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome audience, I would rather be comfortable. My favorite time of the year is spring and fall. Actually, I like fall better because in fall we have all these colors. All of a sudden, it's very colorful, and you see, right now it's in between. It's not too green, it's not too colorful, but it's getting there. In about a couple of weeks, it's going to be like all of a sudden it blows up. All these colors are blowing up, and I absolutely love it. That's why I like to drive to a country to see these colors. In the city, we don't see them that much, but still a little bit. Just drive outside, just 20 miles away from the city, and it's mind-blowing, okay? That's why I like this time of the year. And these temperatures, they're not too hot. I didn't like 106 in the summer. And I don't like very cold because yeah, I am from Soviet Georgia, which is like southern part of the former Soviet Union. So that's my answer. I like to be comfortable.
Nicely done.
Thank you, Isaac. All right, Lucy, Khan, are you there again? Okay. All right. Lucy, this is a long question, so, but you will have an answer because you always come through. If your family won a trip around the world, and that trip would take you 1 full year, would you invite strangers to live in your home while you were away? Lucy Khan.
If I travel around the world with my family for a whole year, I think I can have a stranger to leave my house, but I need somebody to make sure that the stranger is really a good person and that will take care of my house and making sure that they really take us off as if it's their own house. And hopefully I will come home with having my own house the same as I left when I went for a vacation, for a long vacation. Thank you.
I don't know, do you have any pets?
No.
Oh,
I
just
used
a
to have
husband, huh?
pet. Yeah.
I was going to say, if you had a stranger and they took care of the pets, then you wouldn't have to pay boarding fees. Thank you very much, Lucy. You did that very well. I'm hiding your question, Julie, as you see.
I could see that.
I know. Ken, hi, Ken, you're back again. Ken, I hope I have the name right, but this question just had your name on it. If your cat Snuffles, is it Snuffles? Yeah. He names his cats very unusual names.
That's cute.
Yeah. If your cat Snuffles had 6 kittens, how many kittens would you want to keep, Ken Raftery?
Thank you, Fran, for that question. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'd keep any others. You know, part of the reason is my cat is a little antisocial, but then again, I guess she wouldn't be antisocial to her own kittens, right? I would assume not. But I think in general, just to bring another cat home and assume the cats are automatically going to get along, that's probably not necessarily true. I think, especially this cat has been alone for, I just got her 4 years ago. The anniversary just passed, so. And for that matter, she's not capable of having kittens, although apparently she had them before I adopted her because the person who fostered her gave me photos. It's funny, they just look like miniature versions of her. Yeah, so.
Good answer. I was hoping that you didn't say, well, Snuffles is a male cat and couldn't have babies if he wanted to, but I'm glad, because you always tell us the cat's names, but I didn't know what it was. Thank you very much, Ken. That was fun. Julie, now your question. Oh, wow, this is a nice one. You'll have an answer to this one.
Okay.
Julie, if you were about to write your first novel, what would it be about? Julie Porowski.
A novel. Wow. I think that there are so many topics that I'm interested in. I think the hardest part would be selecting a topic. I love to cook. I love cats. I love dogs. I love fashion.
I love my husband, please.
I love my husband.
Oh, yeah, that would be very nice, Jewel.
Somewhere on the list. I love my husband. I love my friends. I love Toastmasters. There are so many things that I love that could possibly be topics or subjects for my first novel. Now, the thing that's nice about a novel is that it is fiction. So I would be very free to embellish, change things a little bit, give people pseudonyms. So I think I would have a lot of fun with my first novel, but selecting the topic, I think once I got that under my belt and decided what exactly I wanted to write about or who I wanted to write about, then I could get started. So that's a great question, Fran, and I'm going to give that a little more thought because maybe someday when I'm retired, I may actually sit down and write a novel.
Yeah, I'm trying to write about my life. I've got the title. It's called The Tapestry of My Life.
Oh, I like that.
Because Mary Higgins Clark's daughter, Carol, told me years ago that I had so many facets of my life. I shouldn't try to do my life. I should do it like a rotary wheel and have spokes and finish one. So I managed to complete my summers out in Amityville with the channel in the backyard and the Great South Bay across the street, learning to water ski, pick berries, all that stuff. That's done. But I just need time to get another facet and keep walking around the wheel.
I like how she put that, though, but make it like a wheel.
Yeah, she said because
that's a great concept.
She said you're too involved in so many things, you're going to get muddled all up in it. So I'm taking her advice. Anyhow, Jewel, I did want to tell you something, though. I know that you were a foster parent for cats. I was talking to Imogene James a few days ago, past District 46 governor, because George Sepsi, past 46 governor, asked me to call her.
How is
and then
she?
He was going to call me. She's doing very well. She still works for the North Shore Animal League.
Great
And
organization.
I told her how I have to turn the TV, the sound off, and just don't look at the screen when the ASPCA puts those horrible ads on about those unloved, poor animals that are caged in. It turns my stomach. They're so pitiful. And I said,
But that's
you know,
the reality, Fran. I hate to say it.
well,
For many pets, they're not even pets. They live in puppy mills. And,
I know. Well, I don't want to
in
really go
unsafe
there.
conditions.
But I did ask Imogene. I said, I know that Julie was involved with bringing strays out there, but she said that they're loved, they're taken care of, and they are treated.